What in the world?
This being Renan territory, I was prepared for a lot of things to look different. But this is a bit more than I anticipated.
The very foundations of the city have shifted. What could have caused this?
When Lenegis changed shape, it must have had an effect on the interior, too.
Maybe when they sent the wedge down to Dana?
But they wouldn't move around the places where people live. These are their homes.
I would think the citizens themselves didn't have much say in the matter. Either way, locating the Forbidden Zone just became that much trickier.
Dohalim? Is that you?
Avakir, I'm glad to see you're well.
So it is you! But why are you here? Shouldn't you be down on Dana participating in the crown contest? And these people!
So you haven't heard what happened on Dana, then?
Heard what?
Someone you know?
An old friend.
Hey, Dohalim, don't tell me you've started keeping company with...
They're with me. More importantly, what's happened here?
I'm really not sure. The city's foundations began to shift without warning, and now everything looks like this. We're all waiting for the Sovereign to tell us what's happening, but so far...
Avakir, listen to me. We're looking for the Forbidden Zone. Do you have any idea where we might find it?
The Forbidden Zone? What business could you possibly have there?
Trust me. The less you know, the better.
You're just the same as ever. I wish I could help, but what with the changed topography, I can barely locate my own home. Let alone the Forbidden Zone.
Very well. It looks like we'll have to find the way there ourselves.
Have you seen Faria yet?
No.
I see. Well, nothing much has changed with her. If anything, she's probably even more...
I can well imagine.
Why did you come back? You know it can only result in pain for you both.
I've no doubt of that.
You really are the same as ever. Fine, I understand. Just don't say I didn't warn you. And take care of yourself, okay, Do?
So who's Faria?
Law?
If what Avakir said is true, it would seem the people of Lenegis are being kept in the dark.
They seem to be just as clueless about what's going on up here in their own world. Despite the fact that it's actually here.
We need more information. Let's talk to the citizens, see what we can find.
While we're at it, we can ask them about the...
And don't forget about finding the way to the Forbidden Zone either.
Let's leave the talking to Shion. We can't have a bunch of Danans poking their nose.
Good idea. I think that's for the best.
I shall assist.
You sure?
Being a lord on Lenegis has its advantages.
Right. Then we'll leave it to you two. The Danans are...
What could be so important? It's worth destroying people's livelihoods and homes in the process. It's just... unbelievable. Uprooting an entire...
From how it looks, they must be siphoning off astral energy from Dana.
But why do all this? What for? Surely they can't be using all that energy for the
Whatever their purpose, disrupting their siphoning process alone won't be sufficient. Not while we still don't know what they're...
He's right. We need to stop this from happening.
This Forbidden Zone might be where we find some answers, right? So what are we waiting for? Let's get moving!
You heard him. You don't...
So, I've been wondering, do you think when Lenegis was built, it was even...
What do you mean?
Well, none of this happened by coincidence, right? But then, if they knew people were going to live here, you'd think they would have taken that into
Ordinarily, yes. You'd think so. Trust me, as far as we were concerned, Lenegis was our home. Nothing... It makes you wonder whether the city was just built on as an afterthought. But if so, to what exactly?
Sorry. That probably sounded weird, huh?
Not at all. Sometimes it takes an outsider's eye to help you notice what you've been... This place is a mystery, that's for sure. Something tells me we'll find answers where we're going, though.
Yeah, you're right, Shion. I'm sure we will.
Oh, dear me. What an unspeakable... Whatever did we do to deserve this?
You really have no clue what might have caused this?
Would that I have. Alas, there was no warning, We have no choice but to grin and bear it. But do my eyes deceive me? Could I really be standing in the presence of his lordship, Dohalim of the House? I believed he was on Dana.
Your eyes do not deceive you. It is I, one and the same. I have returned to fulfill a special duty, the details of which I...
As your lordship wishes. First, Lenegis mutates beyond recognition. Now this unexpected visit. The Ilkaris house has produced a great...
Your good wishes do me an honor.
Everything will be okay now.
I know the base...
Your lordship! Oh, what a great honor it is to... I descended to Dana during the last crown contest also. I witnessed the deaths of so many slaves.
Indeed.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're...
All red, eh? No, I can't say I remember anyone like that.
Yeah. What about down on Dana during the crown contest?
What's with all these questions? I've never seen her, okay? Not recently or otherwise. Why do you want to find her anyway?
Never mind. Forget I asked. Sorry to take up... Is everything okay? You look a little lost.
Oh, yes. I can't seem to find my way home is all.
I was hoping to head this way myself. The situation is a real pain, huh?
I suppose the Sovereign knows best. I daren't stay here too long, though. A lower caste can only linger around these parts. I was hoping to avoid it, but maybe I'll have to go that way after.
You mean you know another way round?
Lord Dohalim Ilkaris! But how?
Yes, strange, isn't it? If you know another route, we'd be grateful.
But of course. Please forgive me. There's a wall that sprung up ahead of here, with what looks to be an entrance in it. I thought maybe it was a passageway between the different...
It's worth investigating, at least. I shall go and assess the situation.
You'd really do that for me? A lord troubling himself for someone of...
Our lot in life is of little consequence. We are both Renan.
Oh, why yes, my lord. Thank you.
Well, we've canvassed the city for information. What do you think?
No one has the faintest idea what's happened to the city after all.
You'd think that info would easily find its way up here. Has it always been like that?
Not to this extent. Which would indicate that something's suppressing...
Given everything that's happened to their city, the people here seem weirdly
Yeah. That one guy even said his Zoogle had stopped listening.
Everything that happens here is attributed to the Sovereign's will. Nothing happens devoid of a reason. To them, it's all part...
The Sovereign's plan. There is one thing I'm still not sure about. Just who is this person?
The Sovereign, of course. He rules from Rena while presiding over both Rena...
Without the lords or anyone in the middle doing his dirty work? That's a pretty big dominion for one person to rule over.
The points you make are valid, though I confess I'd never given it much thought before. Here, the Sovereign's total authority is as natural as night. Come to think of it, I know nothing of the nature of how Rena itself... Shion, have you ever been... No, forgive me. Have you met or crossed...
No, I haven't.
Neither have I. In which case, I would imagine that... But no, surely not. Can it...
Hold up, what are you getting at, Dohalim?
Assuming what I believe to be correct, it's possible that no one on Lenig...
But what about trade and communication? There's got to be a flow back and forth.
Not if the Sovereign is imposing his will on Lenegis single-handedly.
But I thought you said that the Sovereign's all the way over on Rena. If that's the case, can he really... What if something were to happen to the city, like now?
I'm beginning to wonder what the nature of this But Sovereign is also the title...
Whoever wins the crown contest inherits the... Thereafter, that individual is known as the... As for how Volron factors into...
3 centuries ago, I became the Sovereign. 300 years later, we crossed paths with Volron. That's not the only thing we have in common.
Do you think Volron was made soft?
I can't say for sure, but it certainly sounds like it.
But that would mean that two sovereigns would need to exist at any one. We never did see Volron's body back in Ganeth Heros. Is a new ceremony underway with Volron at its center this time?
Wait a second. You don't think Volron and the Red Woman are working? The ceremony can't go forward without the Renis Alma.
There's something else the ceremony needs. A maiden. And unless there's enough...
Questions, and yet more
If the Forbidden Zone really is off limits to everyone but the...
Then it's decided. That's where we need to go.
One of the citizens mentioned a passage that she thought might lead to another section of the... Let's go find it! I didn't realize Renans oppressed their own kind, too.
And yet, weirdly, none of them seem to mind. Am I the only one who finds that strange?
It is the way things have always been, so no one thinks to question it. You have experience.
Unquestioning acceptance of your own servitude.
Even so, the quality of life here seems much... I used to think it was impossible to build an ideal society without wealth. But I suppose having it...
More to the point, not a single citizen seems to...
What if she's not here? What if it turns out we're looking in the wrong place entirely?
It's still too early to say anything.
For all we know, she might be able to blend in.
With nobody left to... I mean, there's sovereigns up on the Renan home...
But Dohalim was a lord, right?
Only current acting lords have power. Renan society...
Even if the other lords...
I wonder what they'd think if they were here to see Balsif, Ganabelt, Almadria, and Volron. Now that I think of it, aside from Dohalim, we...
Well, yeah, why would we? To us Danans, they were just enemies we need...
I know.
It feels strange to imagine...
Yeah, a little.
If you're that curious about them, every lord in their household, and luckily for us, the people here...
Tell me, Dohalim.
And what skill would this be, pray tell?
You know, when you're talking to people around town. The way they suddenly become putty in your hands.
I'm afraid I don't quite follow.
I do. It's called friendly intimidation. Look imposing and speak in a deep, booming voice, and presto, you'll have people wrapped around...
I would never stoop to such scandalous tricks. Any feelings of intimidation are solely in the eye of the beholder.
So there is a knack to it! How do you learn it? Can anyone do it?
Now you've got me curious. Is there special training to master?
Let's see. An obsession with being elegant is a must.
If you've a bone to pick with me, it'd be quicker to just come out and say it.
What? They look up to you, that's all.
Hey! What's got into Alvin and Law all of a sudden?
I can barely understand a word they're saying. And what's with the weird poses? Was it something they ate?
I hope you're willing to take the blame for this one.
I wasn't expecting them to
Yes! Yes!
Balsef had it in him to care about someone other than himself? Really?
It's possible. A change in position can do much to alter one's perspective.
So even he might have had something he wanted to protect.
I guess she intended to spread it throughout all of Lenegis then.
Good thing the lines were down so she couldn't.
It almost sounded like she was praising them, too.
Maybe there was more to the guy than at first glance.
I shall refrain from commenting.
What?
Ganabelt was so horrible to people, yet he was invested in helping Rena succeed. Doesn't that seem just a little inconsistent?
I'm perhaps biased in this matter, I admit. However, in my mind, while all lords vie to become the next sovereign, they're also meant to serve as guardians of all of Rena.
It seems like Ganabelt also had people he cared about until the very end.
So why couldn't he extend that to us Danans?
This area doesn't look as badly damaged as that other district we went through.
Indeed, the effects of Lenegis's transformation appear to be less pronounced here. Or, viewed another way, this...
Pardon me.
I guess her willingness to stoop to any low came from a survival of the fittest worldview.
And some people here not only shared her belief, but championed it as morally right, too.
That doesn't make it true. Too bad they couldn't see through her.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Okay. Ah!
It seems like the people on Lenegis don't really know much about Volron either.
I remember being quite surprised when the Lord of Ganath Haros changed so abruptly.
Didn't you have any doubts that something suspicious was going on?
On the contrary. Remember, we Renans are raised to accept everything at face value.
When you think about it, the families of Renan lords must see them differently than the rest of us.
Yeah, despite the brutality they're known for.
They must have had a lot on their shoulders, carrying all the weight and responsibilities of Renan society.
Renans live in a world where strength and power determine their position in the social hierarchy, so they tend to grow up fiercely competitive. But their loyalty to their people is also strong. It's what brings them together against outside forces, and nothing exemplifies that more than the Lords.
That's what makes them the guardians of all of Rena, so to speak.
Right. It's the same reason Balsif hated my guts, and Ganabelt went after you. Because we're threats to Rena.
Guess that makes you an even bigger oddball than we thought.
So, Alphen, have you gained anything from all of this?
Yeah. I think it's made me realize that the Lords were all people, too. Balsif and the others, they all had their own circumstances to deal with as they went through life.
Yeah, but still, just because they had loved ones in their lives doesn't mean...
I know. What they did was horrible. I'm not trying to dispute that. But at the same time, they weren't incomprehensible monsters either. They were individuals, just like the rest of us. So I guess what I'm trying to say is...
You're saying that they weren't bad because they were Renans, or because they were terrible monsters. Even if they did terrible things, they were still just people.
Rinwell.
Am I wrong?
Not at all.
Being a Danan doesn't make you a good person. And being a Renan doesn't make you a bad one. I think that's something we've all seen.
Shion and Dohalim definitely make a good case for it.
And I'm going to keep doing my best to make sure I earn that trust. As a fellow human being above all else.
There's something I just don't get.
What is it?
The crown contest itself has always gone ahead as planned, right? In which case, the current Sovereign of Rena should be whoever it was that won the previous contest.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, who was it then?
Hanfried Milgras, the former Lord of Cislodia, if memory serves.
So then this Hanfried whatchamacallem, he's the current ruler of Rena?
The last I heard, yes. Though, admittedly, I haven't actually seen him since the end of the previous contest.
You're saying that ever since becoming Sovereign, he's never actually shown himself on Lenegus?
I guess over holocom maybe, but not in the flesh. Same thing goes for the Sovereign that came before him.
Now that you mention it, I don't recall anyone ever visiting Lenegus from the motherland, Sovereign or otherwise.
And that never struck you as a little bit odd?
When you live here, it's as if you're conditioned not to notice all these strange quirks and discrepancies. The question is then, by whom? And to what end?
A new Renis Alma is supposedly created to coincide with every crown contest, meaning each victor is awarded their very own. In other words, if that's true, there should be as many of the things out there as there have been contests.
True, but going on what we witnessed in Pelagian, it didn't look like the sort of thing that could be made to order. But if even the victor's speeches have been part of some grand deception, then where are they? Quite frankly, I'm not even sure what to believe anymore.
You and me both. Though we are Renin by blood, neither of us even knew that such a thing as a Dark Master Core existed, remember?
With any luck, the Forbidden Zone might give us some answers.
No use standing around here chatting about it then. Let's get a move on.
Doe?
Faria.
Varia? Isn't that the person that Avakir guy was—
But why are you here? Wait. Don't tell me you've given up on the crown contest and come crawling back home from Dana already. Nothing to say? Even though you were willing to kill Tarnigan to secure your position as Lord, you still—
Kill?
I'm here to take care of something. If you wish to continue this conversation, I only ask that you wait until I'm finished.
Oh, of course. You always did prefer to take the coward's way out. Even after 7 years and living on that Danon rock, you haven't changed one bit. But let me tell you, I haven't changed either. Not a day's gone by the past 7 years that I haven't hated you.
If killing me will bring you peace, then so be it.
Dohalim, what the hell are you saying?
First, I have business to take care of. If it's vengeance you seek, I will grant you it. But you must wait. My sins are legion. Let me finish what I came to do. Then you have my word. I will let you do whatever brings you peace.
Sure, that's it. Run away like always. You don't even have the courage to die. No wonder you leave it to someone else. You're just a coward!
Dohalim.
I apologize that you had to witness that.
Is it true? What she said about you killing someone?
Each of us have our pasts. I am no exception.
Before, back in Menancia, you mentioned having taken a friend's life over the throne. Is that what she meant?
The mistakes I made there were not my first, and may not be my last. I will say no more.
Did you mean what you said? About letting her take your life if she wanted to?
She has more right to my life than anyone.
But you can't just...
Whatever happens, I have sworn to put an end to the crown contest, and to ensure continued coexistence in Menancia. I have no intention of expiring before I do so. There are far too many questions I still seek answers to. Besides, you have just as much reason to kill me as she does.
Dohalim!
Forgive me. Some things are best left unsaid.
Wow, this place is beautiful!
Yeah, it must be some sort of rest and leisure area for the locals.
You think? Man, these Renan sure know how to live it up, don't they?
Is something the matter, Dohalim?
Before I went down to Dana, my friends and I, we used to gather at this very spot and play music together. Avakir, Faria, and Tarnagan. That was a lifetime ago now.
Tarnagan. He was the one that Faria mentioned, right?
He was once my dearest, closest friend. As well as Faria's betrothed. Despite Faria's lower-class upbringing, she possesses a tremendous talent for music. Entranced by her playing, I helped her overcome her sense of inferiority and introduced her to Tarnagan and Avakir. It was a time of great joy. 4 people bound only by their love of music, with no care for social standing. Only the next song, the next melody.
A friendship based on mutual respect, and a society where everyone is a prisoner to their social class. You really are different, Dohalim.
I suppose it's natural you would see it as strange.
I would have, once. Now, I think the idea of breaking away from society's constraints and choosing your friends based solely on affection is something beautiful that's worth cherishing. Besides, it was that way of looking at the world that laid the foundations for coexistence in Menancia.
Your praise does me too great an honor. I was merely following the wishes of my own heart. And even then, it only lasted until the crown contest began. After that, Tarnagan and I became fierce competitors for the position of Lord. Tarnagan had fallen for Faria. By becoming Lord, he aimed to wrest her from her humble origins and raise her to the highest echelons of society. But fate was not so benevolent.
What happened?
Tarnagan was no match for me in combat. On a level playing field, he wouldn't have stood a chance. But he was desperate and low on options, and he couldn't stand the thought of defeat.
You mean he resorted to dirty tactics to try to win, right? But then why does Faria think... Wait. Don't tell me she doesn't know.
How could I tell her? Combined with the trauma of losing her beloved, and by her friend's hand, no less. She would have been devastated.
So instead you let her go on hating you, so she could use that hate as a crutch for her grief?
That's not the same as running away, though.
It is exactly the same. Unable to face the loss of my friend and the burden of my duty. Instead, I decried my fate and looked away from what I'd done. As for what happened after, that you already know.
But if you hadn't become Lord, Menancia wouldn't be what it is now. The Danans there would still be suffering under Renan oppression like before.
Shion's right. What other lord would have treated me as you did? Anyone else and I would have been dead long ago. You've saved so many people, Dohalim. You saved me. It's thanks to you that I'm here today. So, try not to blame yourself. The burden you've placed on your own shoulders is too much for anyone to bear.
Frank as always. But I shall do my best to heed your advice.
Do you think he'll be all right?
Yeah, I think so. He's got Kisara.
It's important to have someone like that.
I didn't realize how difficult it is just to be there for someone.
Sometimes just knowing someone's on your side can be enough. And he knows, Shion. I promise he does.
I hope you're right. Alphen.
Yeah?
I never appreciated until recently just how much you were always there to support me.
It goes both ways. You've helped me keep going more times than I can count.
Maybe, but I still wanted to say thank you.
What do you say we check back in on the ranch?
I see a medic and supply officer. Over there. If they know you're with me, they'll likely offer their assistance.
Done. This is sure to give the others some...
Damn it! Lenegis soldiers!
Any way we can avoid fighting them?
That all depends on them. Whatever happens, be ready.
Well, so much for them not wanting to fight.
Oh! I am Lord Dohalim of Elda Menancia. I command you.
The rest of the city must be erased.
No. Have they been brainwashed too?
Brainwashed or not, if they want to fight, they got one. You picked the wrong fight! Damn it! Double even bang!
Begin!
It's almost too strong.
Let it open!
Be my guest!
First force!
Double demon
Fang!
I'll be saving this one!
Let's die! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Here I go! Gale Force! Now!
Double in an instant! Impact Block!
I'll heal you all!
Radiant Gun! Force of regeneration! Double Demon Fang! Can't move!
Just
We're
wait!
not
Lightning
finished!
to them! Thunder Blade! Reload!
I'll grind you into dust! Dance on the wind!
Resuscitation! Thunder Field! Here's a
Rending
window!
you apart!
First aid!
Double Demon Fang!
We'll soon see about that! Astral Energy!
Say no more!
Those soldiers seem different from the citizens we've come across so far.
Yeah, they weren't big talkers, that's for sure. They just...
They weren't in the least bit fazed by Dohalim's presence either.
Indeed. They seem to recognize us as enemies. And yet, traditionally, Lenegis hasn't been
Their glazed-over eyes reminded me of the soul.
I've never seen anything like that here on Lenegis.
Maybe someone doesn't want us here, and the soldiers are their way of letting us know.
Well, with the Red Woman, the Sovereign, and Volron, they're starting...
This one will be difficult to predict.
Water, hear my call!
It's on!
Chinese Inferno, the Flame of Fury! These ones can run rings around us!
Sure, thanks.
Freeze Blazer! Tempest Whirl!
Double Demon Fang! I'm ready! Remote!
Astral Energy!
Say no more! Now! Here I come!
Mega Ray!
Double Demon Fang!
Aqua!
Rending you up!
Crazy
Too fast! Stand back! I'll trip it up! I'm not done! I'm ready!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished! Not a
I'm going
chance!
to power up
Can you
water!
take it? Take this! Double Demon Fang!
Now!
Pistol! In an instant! Impact Block!
Quite necessary when creating weaponry. This one will be difficult to predict.
Lightning!
Double
Lightning!
Demon Fang!
Lightning condemned! Got Thunder Blade!
Time to let it
I
rip!
think I'll pass on the handshake.
Double Demon Fang!
Lightning Orb! Raging Water! Gemini Aqua! Dance in the wind!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! Captivity!
Searing Flame! Raging Storm!
You picked the wrong fight!
Let's go!
Double Demon Fang!
Mega Ray! By the
Here I
power
come!
of a whirling
Double Demon Fang!
Winds of Heaven! First Force! Mega Ray!
Shine! Radiant
Seal.
Light! Never see what I can do!
I'll be saving this one!
Regenerate!
Searing Flame!
Let us take to the fray!
Lightning! Ready to go! More lightning! Burning! Glacial in here! Here's the evil! More
blood,
with the stop
rending
sign.
you a bloody howling!
More where that came from! Lightning! Ready!
Another incantation ruined.
Out of ammo! First aid!
The flame inside me yearns to be let free!
Mutilation!
Let it fly! Try this! Rending you a Demon Fang! Nothing more is all mine!
Here, let me help!
Our arms are being interrupted.
You're mine!
Can you take it?
Escape!
Raging
Try this!
Storm!
Seismic rupture!
Infernal Torrent!
Charge like that can easily be fatal.
Don't give up!
Behold! The Earth pulse! Tectonic vision!
I'll bring you back! Raging Cascade!
Benediction light.
Resuscitation! I'll be saving this
I
one!
owe you one.
More with that
Double Demon
here!
Fang!
Far enough!
I'll thank you.
Mega Ray!
Breath of my weary companion!
Hear me! Can't be quiet! Double demon Here goes!
Benediction light.
It's on!
Heal!
You picked the wrong fight!
Light acid!
Scream
Not
of
ammo!
blood! Rending you apart! Bloody howling!
Infernal Sword! Still!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished! You're quite the gunslinger.
I have to be, in this world.
Don't worry. I've got your back.
This won't be easy.
Demon Fang!
What? Be such a pessimist!
For my lord!
Nothing gets by me! You know I'm the true gunner around here.
I see one, eh?
That's my cue!
Leave them telling to me.
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! My turn! Double Demon Fang! The fire side me cured! Fire support! Double Demon Fang! I'm ready! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade! Double Demon Fang! Ignite!
I'll be saving this one!
Double Demon Fang!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Hey! Poodle's quivering! I think we're about to be real lucky!
I have a bad feeling about this.
In a bind?
Double Demon Fang!
Winds of heaven!
Too late to talk over our differences?
Feel!
Nothing gets by me!
Seismic Rupture!
Elusive deity!
I'm ready! In an instant! Impact Block!
Hear me! Flame
Not a
of fury!
chance! Mirage! Double Demon Fang! We did it! Not a chance!
That'll bring you down!
I'll smash you! Burn! Double Demon Fang!
All yours, Kisara!
With this, I can become even stronger.
Those soldiers don't seem to have any qualms about attacking on sight.
This one's tough, but we have no choice.
Let me know if you need healing.
Rending you apart!
Time to cross the blade!
Winds of heaven!
Double Demon Fang!
Glacial spear! Pierce evil!
Double Demon Fang!
Here's a healing!
Rage.
First aid!
In your death. Bloody howling! I'm nearly done for.
Double Demon Fang!
Ready and raring!
No! Can't live here!
Don't leave me! I'll bring you back from lightning orb! Lightning blood! Rending you apart!
You were playing nice!
I'll heal you all!
Double Demon Fang!
Healing circle! Hear me! Raging cascade! Burning! I'm right here! More for the stockpile!
It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire!
Can you take it?
More relaxing acceleration!
Infernal Sword!
Here's a healing art!
Double Demon Fang!
Thunder field! Cascade!
Stalagmite!
Dance in the
Infernal
wind!
Sword!
Heal you all! Sleep now!
Bloody
More for the
howling!
stockpile!
Thanks.
I owe you all. He keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Got it! I'll leave it to you! Inferno turret!
One more!
Double demon fang! Not a chance! Swallow blade! Try this! My weary companion!
Shining supernova!
Inferno turret!
Now!
Chill!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
My exploits are bearing fruit.
Go no further!
Double demon fang!
Bring him down! Reload! Lightning orb!
Double demon fang!
Resonate with the orb! How long are we gonna keep this up for exactly?
Ignite!
I'm out of air! Winds of heaven!
Wide open!
It won't escape me.
Demon fang!
Field!
Swallow blade!
Back into
Try
the
this!
fray!
I owe you one. Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! My turn! Double demon fang! Thanks! Double demon fang! Double demon fang! This one's all mine! Double demon fang! More than enough for now! Double leap! In an instant! Impact block! Double demon fang!
Lightning orb!
You're mine!
Raging cascade!
No further!
And again!
Double demon
Dance
fang!
in the wind! In here!
I'll blind you with a
I'll be saving this
Dance on the wind!
Raging cascade! Now!
Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
I'm pretty worn out.
Want to rest up for a bit? This one's tough, but we have no choice.
Let me know if you need healing.
Take it! Double demon fang!
Your reflexes will not serve you well here.
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Here's a healing orb.
Take this! I owe you one.
Regenerate!
I owe you one. Double demon fang! Not today!
A new melody!
Try this!
Can't move! Forgive me. This is my fault.
Armor won't save you! Far up!
I'll bring you back from
A whirling struggle!
Elusive deity! No further!
Dance in the wind!
Not done yet!
Now,
Double demon fang!
Bloody howling!
Infernal turret! My turn! Double demon fang! Double demon fang!
Healing circle! Dance in the wind! Now!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Well, am I improving?
Tremendously. The speed and precision of your aim is simply unmatched.
I had no idea you were watching me so closely.
Go no further!
Double demon fang!
This one's mine!
Elusive deity!
Dance
Double
in the wind!
soaring blast!
Time of fury! If you won't bow out night, then you leave me no choice!
Couldn't wait it in time.
Being interrupted! A close one! A whirling struggle! Winds of heaven! First force!
Raging cascades! Raging cascades! Healing circle! I won't give up!
Swallow blade! Try this!
It appears the end is nigh. This is some punishment.
Stay away from my friend! Double demon fang! Double demon fang! I can carve through arms! The flame inside me yearns to be let free! Is this it?
Trouble! Winds of heaven! First force!
Locked and loaded! Rending you apart!
Raging cascade!
No dead yet!
Another incantation ruined.
Winds of heaven!
Mission!
Forth!
Can't get out of this!
Don't give up! I'll bring you
You'll
down.
find no mercy. I'm in your debt.
More for the stockpile! Hit! More and thrust! A whirling
Behold! The Earth pulse! Tectonic vision!
I can carve through armor! My deal?
Now! Go for it!
Prepare to crumble!
I'll bring you back from death to bed!
Thank you! All in order.
Resuscitation!
Tempting!
Not going to be double demon fang!
It's time!
Pentecost field!
Tempting!
Now! Demons descend!
Flashing bang! Don't push yourself too hard. This must be it. The entrance to the Forbidden Zone.
But it's just a wall. How do we get through?
Whoa, we? I thought this was Sovereigns only.
Alphen.
Yes! It opened!
Interesting. If Alphen's presence still opens the way, it would seem the Sovereign of 3 centuries ago and now are considered one and the same.
What?
What the?
Alphen.
You again.
Tomorrow's the spirit channeling ceremony. We'll finally play our parts as the Sovereign and Maiden. How have you been feeling?
What am I sovereign of? Shuffled from lab to lab, always treated like an experiment. Whenever they look at me, all they see is a Danon. I don't even know what their precious ceremony's for, let alone what they're going to force me to do as the Sovereign. Tell me, if we're both in the same boat, why do you seem so calm right now?
No choice. Becoming the Maiden's not something I wanted for myself. But they said Rena's prosperity depended on it. How could I say no after that?
Still, as a Renan, at least you got to decide. Good for you. Meanwhile, I was taken from my homeland. You aren't the captive one here.
It isn't right what they did to you, and I'm sorry for what it's worth. When this is over, I swear I'll help you get home.
I can't do this alone. One more day.
How could I say no to that? It's not like I have any choice in the matter anyway. So, what's your name?
It's Naori. Naori Imaris. Try to remember this time.
You don't act like them. Like the other Renans, I mean. How come you treat me like a person?
Because you are. It's true we come from different worlds. But neither one of us asked to be here right now. In that sense, you and I are much the same. We couldn't do this. We wouldn't be able to talk to each other as people if we didn't see the humanity in each other. So I suppose the question you should be asking is, why wouldn't I treat you like one?
You're not like the others.
Maybe they're not like me.
Here's what we'll do. We give them their damn ceremony. You get me to Dana. That'll be the end of it. I'm taking you at your word on this. I'm trusting you, not them. Naori.
What the hell just happened?
That vision. Did everyone else see it too?
That person Alphen was speaking to, she looked exactly like Shion.
It was Naori. Naori Imaris. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right.
She really does look like Shion. I'm beginning to see why Alphen was so confused.
That's all very well and fine, but what did we just witness exactly? It was too real to be a mere hallucination.
It was a conversation we had 300 years ago. The night before the ceremony.
You mean all of that really happened? We just saw an episode straight out of your past?
But how is that even possible? Unless... Could this be the Red Woman's handiwork too?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
You guys didn't feel it? The moment the entrance opened, it was like a stream of Danon astral energy rushing over us.
I felt it too. And not for the first time either. It was the same sensation as back inside the wedge.
That would make sense. After all, vast amounts of Dana's astral energy were being siphoned and sent up here to Lenegus. For all we know, perhaps we're close to the spot where all that energy was stored.
So you think it might have been the energy itself that was responsible for that vision we just saw? But how? And why?
We have no way of knowing. Maybe it's not even as deliberate as all that.
Shion, you okay?
Yeah. It was all just a little sudden. That's all. So that was my ancestor, huh? It was like looking into a mirror.
Yeah, there certainly is a resemblance.
What about you? How are you holding up?
Me?
Even putting aside the question of where that vision came from, it's likely we'll see more of those. Reliving painful episodes from your past. Do you think you can handle it?
I can't just pretend like the past never happened. Besides, if it helps us uncover the truth of what that ceremony really was, it might also lead to answers about your thorns.
Alphen.
That's not all. This whole time, we've been